Greetings and salutations, everybody. I hope this finds you well. Quick shout out to the two Uber comrades and Patreon supporting this channel, my content, my partner. Thank you, Rosa, and Independent Left News. And I actually came across this story through Independent Left News. So shout out to them once again. It's detailing how Biden is mass deporting people, mass deporting migrants back to Haiti. It's fucked up. Should be called out whether that's being done under a Trump administration, as he was doing, or under a Biden administration. But you see these liberal hacks, these partisan hacks who would be calling out this just despicable, inhumane, just disgusting treatment of these people who have already experienced so much. They would rightly be calling that out and condemning that under a Republican administration, Trump or otherwise. But because Biden's in office and he has a D next to his name, crickets, nothing. You had that people, politicians like AOC, talking about abolishing ICE. These other liberal politicians, whether it be in the squad or otherwise, who were talking about that once Biden got in office. Noticeably very, very quiet on that topic. What happened? Obviously, Biden got in office, right? It's just really, really disgusting. But again, not surprising. So here's the article from the World Socialist website. Martin, thousands of refugees dragged from a camp on the Texas-Mexico border began arriving. And then we'll show some of the video and picture of these migrants literally like being whipped by fucking border patrol or ICE. It's just, it's like, oh my God. This is very in character for the United States. Again, the United States was founded on the genocide of the indigenous people, the enslavement on Africans, and has been, propped up and supported by, these white supremacist policies and ideology since it was founded. And this is just another, modern iteration of that, frankly. The first wave of mass deportations ordered by the Biden admin, three flights arrived in Haiti on Sunday, each carrying 145 adults and kids. And press reports citing U.S. officials said this would be quickly increased to as many as 8 flights a day. And this, the Border Patrol Chief Raul L. Ortiz told a news conference Sunday that 3,300 people, nearly all from Haiti, have been taken from the makeshift camp under an underpass in Del Rio, Texas, to Border Patrol facilities, and then the planes departing from San Antonio, Texas. Said the remainder of the 12,600 migrants on site will be removed by the end of this week. Biden, who campaigned against Donald Trump's vilification of refugees and his deliberate separation of immigrant children from their parents, is responsible for actions equally inhumane and barbaric and on equally large scale, if not larger. But crickets from the liberal media, the Democratic establishment, right? Airing spectacles in the U.S.-Mexico border give the lie to all those who claim the Biden admin would be pushed to the left or the Democratic Party could become an instrument of social reform or progressive social change. Again, there's no reforming either the Democrat or Republican parties. They're completely, part of the capitalist class, willing to do the bidding of the, our feudal overlords, and they uphold capitalism and white supremacy, and the Democratic Party is the deathbed of social movements. So we need to tear down the whole fucking system. We need to have a socialist revolution where we actually have a government that is working to take care of the masses, because this ain't it. And again, this is completely expected, right? You have to be quite disconnected from reality to think Biden was going to do anything of substance, unfortunately. DHS has cited the same legal ground that employed by Trump throughout 2020, a disease control provision called Title 42, which gives CDC power to expel migrants without any legal procedure in the interest of public. Oh my god, so disgusting. DHS apparently aims to remove all Haitians before the stay expires. God damn, dude. And then, this kind of goes to the point they were making on the Anti-Conquista podcast about the failures of liberalism and, like politicians like AOC, etc. Failure of liberal identity politics is that it makes, people of color, brown people, Hispanic people in this case, complicit in their own oppression. You see the border border patrol chief being an example of that. Um, spoke. The horrific reality is that the conditions in Port-au-Prince to which they are being shipped en masse are as bad or worse than those under the underpass where they were sheltering. Again, like the conditions, people's countries have to be pretty fucking bad. The material conditions have to be pretty fucking bad in order, to travel to the United States, to get here, arrive here through, so many trials and tribulations, and then to be set up in this just really shitty, inhumane conditions. Your life has to be obviously, you got a lot of bad stuff going on. You don't, right? Um, the head of Haiti's National Migration Office, Jean Nigo Bonheur Delva, told the press the Haitian state is not really ready to receive these deportees, but U.S. doesn't care. Like, fuck it, continue the white supremacy, continue the mass deportations, but we're doing it in a humanitarian way. We're doing it in this nice liberal way. We're not, vilifying them. We're just deporting them and saying, hey, good luck as we, mass deport these people. Jesus, I'm asking for humanitarian moratorium. So this is coming from, the, Haitian government, right? The situation is very difficult. Um, Jesus. So the many would have nowhere to go. Most left the country at the devastating earthquake of 2010. Um, so what? Yeah, it's the second poorest in the Western Hemisphere, and they suffered, greatly after their, the only country in the world that more or less had, a successful slave revolt, right? Jesus. Biden admin is dispatching another 400 Border Patrol agents, read, white supremacist agents to Del Rio. Um, Jesus. Damn, dude. It's really, really disgusting. But again, not surprising that this is happening, right? This is, part of the Democrats' playbook. Always has been part of the Republicans' playbook. Always has been. Always will be. And then just some of the scenes of what we're seeing, like it's really, really disgusting. But not surprising. Again, as Human Rights Watcher points out, these horrifying images of white settlers violently enforcing colonial borders to block colonized people from entering are as American as it gets. I mean, look at that though. Like the depravity, like how disconnected from your own humanity and other people's humanity you have to be to treat somebody, like that. It's just through this whole process of, vilification, treating these people, viewing them as the other that would allow this to happen, right? Yeah. Border patrols mounted on horseback rounding up Haitian refugees with whips. But as American as it gets, as Human Rights Watcher said, right? But still really, really hard to see, right? But this is what the United States is. This is also, frankly, another point, like when people on the left identify as quote unquote American patriots or patriotic proletarians, all that other nonsense. How do you think these fucking people think about that shit, right? How do you think indigenous communities think about that shit? How do you think black and brown folk think about that shit? How do you think all these other oppressed and marginalized groups, whether inside the borders of the imperial core or outside of it, think about that term? Like, oh my goodness. Anyways, we'll show her one more, then we'll end it here. Gotta get going on a bike ride. Boop. Here we go. Yeah, from Danny Haifong, America Then, America Now, right? Don't see a whole lot of difference, right? Tell me the difference between those two photos. You can't. It's the same con. Look, like, these are the situations where you kind of wish the horse would just, buck off these people, right? At least that's. I mean, I'd be happy seeing that. Really, really disgusting. These mass deportations. Let's see. I'll be curious. Have any of the squad spoken up? Are they saying abolish ICE, abolish Border Patrol right now? I'm looking on AOC's Twitter. Nothing about it. Wait. Oh no. What did she say? Okay, so we'll show their tweet. Noticeably absent is the calling for abolishing ICE or Border Patrol. I don't know if she called for abolishing Border Patrol before, but here's her tweet. Doesn't matter if a Dem or a Republic is president is prez. Our immigration system is designed for cruelty towards and dehumanization of immigrants. Okay, but what it's good to tweet about it, I suppose, but you actually, have a significant amount of power, especially if you actually, develop some political strategy with the squad. Okay, where are you going to say abolish ICE, abolish Border Patrol? Don't see anything there. Again, that's the limits of, liberal opposition. They're going to talk about how horrible it is, but not actually work to, get rid of these racist, white supremacist institutions. So, yeah, that's completely in line with their liberal ideology, right? But completely disgusting on every level what the Biden administration is doing, deporting people. Again, still very in the middle of a pandemic, deporting them back to Haiti to some really inhumane, horrible conditions there as well. No reason for it. There's no reason at all. Those people couldn't have stayed here and given a good quality of life, had all their material needs met. As we have the wealth to do that. It's just in the hands of a very small few, while the masses suffer, particularly vulnerable marginalized groups like these migrants who are being deported en masse back to Haiti under the Biden administration. Fucked up, disgusting, but not surprising, unfortunately. That's why we need to get rid of this whole rotten ass system. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more content. All proud of the people. Peace. Much love.